spiritual awakening to inspire your personal enlightened journey. I'm your host, Megan Mary, international best-selling metaphysical author and founder of Inner Realms Publishing. Let's bring in the light. Welcome. Today we have Elizabeth Webb. She is a practical priestess and an expert in positive psychology and human behavior. She lives in Austin, Texas. She's been featured in New York Times best-selling books like Live It, Love It, Earn It, and through her own inspirational emails called Love Beams. Elizabeth inspires readers to tap into their intuition, experience deeper peace, make confident and empowered choices, and ultimately create lives truly thrilled to live. She's bringing her treasure trove of wisdom to you in her debut best-selling book, Made for Magic. Welcome, Elizabeth.
Oh, thank you for having me, Megan.
It's wonderful to have you here today. And I'm going to start out by asking the first question that I ask everyone, and that is, what does enlightenment mean to you?
Enlightenment means to me a feeling of peace be returned to again and again. So we are all
Mm-hmm.
so very human and having our extremely, sometimes brutal human experiences. And I feel like enlightenment is an awareness of when we're being tossed around by life and being reactive, that this is not the way, and to return again and again to the state of I'm trusting that what's happening is for my highest good, even when it makes zero sense. So
That is one
returning,
of the biggest challenges,
yeah,
yes.
returning to that trust and that feeling of chosen peace, even in moments of storm, and really recognizing and owning it when we're not being that way, and just getting back in the saddle again and again. That's what feels like modern enlightenment is to me.
Yeah, and I like that you added on the word modern. So I think
Mhm.
that goes along with your practical priestess title. So what does it mean to be a practical priestess?
Oh, sure. So I am a twice ordained priestess, ordained in my familial lineage and then also in the Magdalene Rose lineage. I've studied the priestess arts and these works for 12 years. And my very simple definition, I think that the word priestess sounds fancy, it feels misunderstood. It's what does that mean? Does it mean goddess? Does it mean sexy? Does it mean this? Does it mean that? But no, it really means a woman who is choosing actively to amplify the light in every circumstance that she's in and bringing in the humanity of it. When she doesn't, when she falls out of the saddle, it's returning again to that contract, saying yes to the contract that she's made of amplifying the light with space for your humanity or my humanity, because I make mistakes and then I just go, oh, I am not amplifying the light like at all. It's time to return to that state because that's what I've agreed to do. So, a woman who amplifies the light, that is a priestess. A practical priestess, which is what I say, a practical priestess is, in this case, I'll just say me, a woman who takes it even a step further of just amplifying the light. It's actually finding and creating practical ways to be a source of light in the world and share light with others. So it's like, what does that look like right now as I make breakfast? It could look like turning on music and infusing the food with good energy. It could look like it's actionable things in the world. It's not just the etheric realms that we can't see, although those are very important. It's really being of the world, and that's what brings in the practicality.
Embodying that magic, bringing it into our everyday lives. Yes,
Yes.
I like that. So let's go back a little and give the listeners a chance to hear about your spiritual awakening, how you came to be a practical priestess now.
Oh, absolutely. I had the experience very young of being tapped in. So we all have our different versions of that. For me, that just looked like at the age of 3, I was saying really profound spiritual things. And to the extent that I think my mom's meditation teacher was like, we want to take her and train her. They thought I was like the next like baby guru or whatever. And she was like, no, I'm keeping my daughter. So I went through the traditional schooling and all of that. And in that vein, like so many magical people, I lost my way. I became very concerned with the external world. I became concerned with being liked and validation and all of these things. And I would say that I really stayed in a state of the material world until I was like in my early 30s. I really
Hmm.
did. And I was interested in God. I was interested in source. I liked it when people talked about it, but I didn't have a lived experience of what that felt like. And I would do dumb things like look at the blinds and be like, God, if you're real, move the blinds. And then they wouldn't move, right? And I'd be like, I don't know about this. People feel it. I don't feel it. The it, I've learned, means the light. You don't feel the connection to the light, that godly energy that feels just like, whoo, that feeling that we're all searching for in different things. So, my practical priestess journey took a turn when I started training with my Aunt Joanna. My Aunt Joanna Cherry lives in Mount Shasta, California. She'd always, to me, been the like weird, quirky aunt. She only dresses in magenta and turquoise and talks about speaking to dead relatives and never ever watered herself down and wasn't like, I'm not sure if you believe this. She was just fully herself and walking the wild child walk. And I reached out to her and I said, can I train with you? And she was like, yeah, let's figure out what that looks like. So I started doing sessions with her that were sometimes twice a week, 3 times a week, and she taught me how to channel. And we weren't calling this priestess arts. I didn't figure out that's what it was until much later when someone else was calling, oh, these are the priestess arts. And I was like, oh, I've been training in this for quite some time. We just weren't calling it that. So I started training with my aunt. And then I went to training formally with priestesses in Northern California. And then I just continued my studies. And now I hold priestess circles in Austin. And they're just so special because it's a group of women amplifying the light and really bringing in these rarefied frequencies that feel almost, we're not on any kind of drug where there's no wine in the room. Nothing wrong with a little glass of wine, but we don't have that. And we really tap in through music and attunement to these beautiful frequencies of light. And we dance and we really set out intentions for one another and ourselves and the world. And it's just such a stunning gathering. So that's the overview, I would say, of my current priestess journey.
I love how you had the eccentric aunt because
Yeah.
I'm a fiction metaphysical author, and in my trilogy there is an eccentric aunt in the. So I love that, and
Yeah,
I
I
love
have
that
the real
she.
life eccentric aunt. Yes, I do.
Yeah, I love that she brought you in and you the ropes, and you weren't even sure what the ropes were that you were being shown, but you were actually carrying on the lineage. So I think that's a
Yeah,
beautiful thing. Let's talk a little bit about positive psychology and the role that it plays in amplifying the light, as you were speaking about.
totally. So, this is where the humanity comes into all of this, right? All of these rarefied frequencies are beautiful, and the music and the priestess circles, and I love jewelry and the whole like goddess culture and all of that. And also, we are living in a world of stressors and to-do lists and overwhelm. And I think that right now it's probably never been harder to be happy than it is right now. And that's really sad because we have every tool available to us, yet people are feeling more lonely than ever, less satisfied than ever, more overwhelmed than ever. So the study of positive psychology actually addresses this. And what I love about positive psychology is my mom is a therapist, and I grew up in a household with a lot of like therapy talk. And I also noticed a lot of misery that she was in with her clients. And I feel that the need for traditional therapists will never go away because people will always have the need to sacredly vent to a trusted source and get reflection and validation, and that is necessary and it's a beautiful art and I respect it. And also too, there's a time and place for positive psychology, which is the study of thriving. So it's taking people, the tagline is north of neutral. So it's not for the people that are in crisis. That would be a different modality, right? Some sort of trauma work or traditional therapy. But for people who are feeling stuck and meh, and I'm not quite, I want to have a breakthrough. I'm bored. I'm feeling, is this it? That feeling of stagnation, that's where positive psychology can really move the needle. And there's so many philosophies in it that I love, but it really breaks down so everybody wants to be happy, right? This is the most basic of human desires. We're all wanting to feel happy. And the definition of happiness in positive psychology is not that it's this stagnant state that you either are or are not. The definition of happiness is this simple: it's experiencing frequent positive emotions. I'll say it one more time because I want it to land. It's experiencing frequent positive emotions. It is not the absence of negative emotions. So
Mm-hmm.
someone could actually be going through something quite difficult, like the loss of a job, or even, this sounds a bit more dark, but like the loss of a loved one. And if they are actively creating frequent positive emotions in spite of the loss or the sadness, they would actually meet this definition of happiness. So, in spite of the loss, if you're still experiencing all of these micro moments of human connection and hugs and making active plans to go to something that brings you joy or something that lights you up. If you are dancing, if you're going to comedy shows, if you're going to the spiritual center of your choice, even though you're in a really sad state, you could actually also meet this definition of happiness. And what I like about this definition of happiness is it doesn't have this pressure of, oh, I'm either a happy person or I'm a sad person. So no, we all have ranges. And this is about the part of happiness that is self created.
I think that's really important. It's
Hmm.
really important to emphasize that it's not a permanent state because I think we all believe that, like you said, right now is the hardest time to be happy. And we believe that happy is on or off, switch, black or white. I'm not happy or I'm happy. And I'm not happy if I'm not happy all the time.
Or
I
if you're not
really
happy all the
like
time, there's something broken.
I really like the micro moments. I like of the fluctuation. I like
Hmm.
the admittance and the space for you can still be going through something really difficult and be feeling still that doubt and sadness, and yet finding the micro moments of happiness, whether it's playing with your pet or enjoying your favorite food or watching your favorite show or reading your favorite book, that in
Hmm.
those moments you're setting aside the unhappiness, the
Hmm.
sadness, the anxiety, the fear, the whatever, and blending it. So it doesn't have to be the sustained, unattainable state. If you are enjoying my podcast and are intrigued by dreams and stories of spiritual awakening, I would like to personally invite you to explore my international best-selling metaphysical trilogy, Witches of Maple Hollow. Like a mystical fairy tale, these fall-themed mysteries weave cozy supernatural fantasy into enchanting tales of magic and self-discovery. Start with Book 1, The Dream Haunters. The Book Life Prize calls it packed to the brim with surprise portals, ancient traditions, and dream worlds. Then dive into the elusive nature of reality in the Dream Mirrors. And finally, unravel ancestral riddles beyond time and space in the Dream Dimensions. Get your exclusive signed copies today at meganmary.com. Stop by the store while you're there and grab your dream journals, cozy blankets, pillows, candles, and more. And don't forget, they also are available in audiobook. Come visit me in Maple Hollow.
Oh, totally. And in this definition, there's also a lot of spaciousness and permission to feel two things at once. You can feel sad because there's something big happening in your life that's really sad, but still experience joy, connection, enlightenment, inspiration during that moment. And it's not disrespectful to the magnitude of the loss. It's just we are humans and we get to feel two things at once, four things at once. So
Yes, the
it's
human
a deep
condition.
acknowledgement of that.
That makes it more accessible, less overwhelming, and to be honest, more attainable.
Yeah,
I think where people get lost is where making that blanket statement, I'm happy in my life, because they recognize that they're fluctuating, but that's part of the human condition, and we have to allow that and still allow the qualification of happiness, even if it's fleeting or temporary. Hmm.
totally.
So, what do you think it is about human behavior that makes that so difficult, that makes it so hard to allow the presence of, or like the label of happiness?
Oh, I think many of us have fear about having it and losing it, or being inauthentic somehow, like labeling yourself as a happy person if you're not happy all the time. Or there might even be a judgment that happy people are not really like getting the level of pain in this world and the pain of other people on the planet, and that being happy is almost like rude and irresponsible somehow to like the level of destruction occurring. And I get it. I get it. I think all of those feelings
Yep.
are valid. And also, I would counter that on someone's deathbed, when that individual, let's say me, when I'm having my last breath on this beautiful planet, I'm not going to wish that I'd felt other people's pain more. Like, I'm not gonna
Mm,
wish that. No,
mm,
none of
yeah.
us are, I don't think. In fact, there's a woman named Bonnie Ware who did this famous study about the top five regrets of the dying. And one of the main regrets was, I wish I had allowed myself to be happier.
Yes.
The language, allowed
Allowed.
myself to be happier,
Mm-hmm.
which indicates that they were not allowing themselves to be happy, which indicates some sort of self-inflicted torture. And I think that's a big one. Self-forgiveness also, Megan, is huge in this area because some of us are still shaming ourselves so hard for something that we've done that we don't think we get to be happy because we made some epic mistakes. So I would say for some people, that's a really good place to start. Do you feel like you deserve to be happy?
That's huge.
Yeah.
Yes.
And if you don't, then why not? What's the reason why not? What have you
How,
done that is so deeply
yeah.
horrible that you don't get to experience that you're still living in that jail cell?
And
Maybe,
how can we change that self-perception and really transmute those blockages that you're holding about yourself so
yeah.
that you can step forward into that and embody that state?
And just to give this wild permission slip, I am in the inner worlds of many kinds of different people. Just so we're all clear, every single one of us has made epic mistakes. All of us. Horrendous oversights and mistakes that we would never want to repeat again. We can all just walk around in misery because we've screwed up, or we can face it and make a new agreement with ourselves about how we're going to conduct ourselves in the future. Never repeat that behavior again to the extent that we have control over it and move forward and stop self-loathing. If you're self-loathing also or in a state of really feeling shame, it is very difficult to amplify the light. So, any part of myself that I hadn't forgiven for my epic mistakes, which I've made my own fair share, any part of myself that was still like, ugh, not worthy, ugh, made mistakes, not worthy. I was like, if I'm going to hold myself in this kind of torture, I'm almost in a really unfun state of self-obsession. If I'm in an unfun state of self-obsession, am I sharing the light at all? No. No, I'm not. I'm thinking about myself. So, this is not why I'm on the planet. Let's get over this stuff and do better. Period.
Yeah, and I know that's also one of everyone's hurdles because, like you said, everyone's has those things,
Yeah.
but it's forgiving yourself. I like what you said before also about there being a climate in society about it not being okay to be too happy because there's so many horrible things that are happening and there's so much strife and struggling and that it's wrong or selfish or that you must be oblivious or
Or you're,
ignorant.
yes,
And
what so many different brands of that, right? She doesn't get it.
yes.
Or if someone appears too happy sometimes, and if they look like me and they appear too happy, sometimes people will assume that I've had a really easy life, which
Hmm.
is not the case. I've had a life that's included violence, deep loss, almost every kind of injustice that you could imagine. And I have decided to not carry it all around with me heavily for the rest of my life. And that
Yep.
doesn't mean that I don't get it.
Yep.
That means I've done the work.
And that was going to be my next question.
Sure.
How do people go about, because obviously you can't be holding the light if you're denying your happiness for the sake of everyone else
Other
because
people.
they
Yeah.
don't want to allow you to or they don't think you
Mhm.
should. And you can't hold it if you're denying yourself because of all of your past digressions. So in neither case can you hold the light. So
Mhm.
in your experience, what is some practical tools for the
Right.
audience to allow them to overcome these things that we've talked about, these barricades, and yet still embody that happiness?
Sure. So I would say without a commitment to being a source of light on the planet, all of this will fall a bit flat. So that's a big internal choice for someone to make that has to feel real for them. So this could be as simple as I'm here on the planet to add value. That's very practical. What does that mean? You get to decide what that means. The happiest people generally feel like they're a good person. And we just spoke to this like, all right, we've all made mistakes. So there's deep alchemical work that you can do around forgiving yourself, which you can do in many different containers. That could be a form of therapy, that could be a self-development workshop. Like Landmark Forum goes into people have mixed feelings about that, but like they do all kinds of repair around integrity. So there's self-forgiveness, but there's also the deep choice of I'm not on this planet to lick my wounds and feel like shit about myself. I'm on this planet to be of service and value and to spread light. And if that's actually what I'm up to, choice gets to be made, line in the sand between you and your soul. If that's actually what I'm up to, how am I going to make my choices? And then getting into positive, proactive action that seals that in as a new part of your identity. So for a lot of people, I have clients that never take me up on this, and I could just wring their gorgeous necks. I just love you and so mad at you that you don't like leap towards this. They'll say they're getting over shame. They're doing this, they're doing that. A lot of them are making actually quite a bit of money. So I say start tithing your money. Doesn't have to be 10%, could be 2%. What charity moves you? I want that money cleansed. I want your subconscious to go, I'm a good person. Every time I make $100, I'm giving $2 away or 10. My money is sacred actually because it's giving back constantly. So there's the tithing, there's also volunteering. This is another one. There's so much resistance to this. Like I'll have clients say, I'm miserable, I'm feeling stuck. I'll be like, cool. Get out of your golden tower and go work at a soup kitchen on a Saturday afternoon. Roll up your sleeves and be in that room that is very uncomfortable and see how you feel afterwards. You know how many of them do that? Like 5%. But then they're like, oh, I get it. Get uncomfortable with your sharing. These are ways
Volunteering. Yeah.
to pop yourself out of self-victimization about what you think you're worthy of. Get into proactive sharing. This is a Kabbalistic tool that I absolutely love.
Yes, I strongly agree with that too. My grandfather always said that the hand that gives is the hand that gets, and I highly
Yeah.
agree. That is one of the best ways. Not only do we benefit others, but then we actually end up feeling good in the process. And it really shifts things a lot when
Yeah.
you stop, like you said, licking your wounds, focusing on what you did wrong or what's wrong in your life, and recognize all you have to offer. And that's really part of that ego shedding process of any spiritual awakening is stepping into service yourself aside and saying, maybe I don't feel like this today, but there's someone who needs to hear this. So I'm going to push through. And maybe I don't want to do that, but I'm going to give part of myself so that in the end, I actually feel better and I'm benefiting someone else.
All of that's true. And I love that you said the shedding of the ego because it is ego shedding, but also it increases our self-esteem, the right kind of self-esteem that is built through adding value. And of course, every human being, I believe, is inherently valuable. We don't have to prove our value on the planet, but like you will feel better about yourself if you know you're adding value. You will. It's
Yes.
proven. So,
Yep.
best way to get out of guilt, shame, unworthiness is to feel like you are adding value on this planet. It is
Yeah.
so
Making a
simple.
difference.
And you know
Mhm.
what, listeners, I dare you. I dare you. Go do something that you would never think that you would do in service to other people and see how you feel afterwards. I dare you. The one that you're like,
Yes.
ugh, no, not that. Do that.
Even virtually, you don't
Yeah, fine.
necessarily have to show up in person. Maybe you can,
I dare
but
you to.
there's plenty to be done. Do you have any closing thoughts before I let you share where people can find you?
gosh, closing thoughts. This has been awfully serious and wake up call-y. I would say my closing thought is give yourself permission to have more fun. This world, it can be so very heavy, and it is so very heavy right now and divided. We really need to look to the wisdom of children and their wonder and lightness of being about the world and bring that into our adulting because we've got this one precious life, or possibly many lives, but right now we're in this one precious life, and it is our sacred spiritual assignment to enjoy it. And I don't believe in suffering as a spiritual path. I really believe you get to feel good as much as humanly possible. So please create that for yourself.
Thank you very much for that. And now share where people can find you.
Absolutely. It would be my pleasure if you would find me online. My website is Positively Elizabeth, and I have just written my debut book. I'm very proud of it. It has all of these juicy morsels and so much more. You can find my book on Amazon or at madeformagicbook.com. The first chapter is available for free. So you can receive the first chapter, read it, absorb the nutrients, see if it's your cup of tea, and that's at madeformagicbook.com. Or you can just pop on over to Amazon and grab the book. It's Made for Magic. And as I mentioned, I'm Positively Elizabeth everywhere online. I have many free resources, so please use them. I am here to share my light with you.
Wonderful. I will put your book and information in the show notes, and I'll also put it on the bookshop.org and amazon.com Women's Dream Enlightenment podcast list library, so people can find it there as well. Well,
Thank
thank you
you.
very much for being my guest today and sharing your positivity. I really appreciate it.
It's my pleasure, Megan. Thank you.
Thank you for listening. Did you enjoy this episode? Be sure to subscribe to make sure you never miss an episode. Head over to my YouTube channel and hit that subscribe button as well to be part of my growing community. Are you ready to take the next step in your spiritual journey? Don't miss out on the new Dream Empowerment programs. Unique opportunities for you to unlock your inner wisdom, discover your authenticity, align with your higher self, and bring abundance into your life. If you'd like your dream or awakening story featured on my show, submit it today. Your dreams have the power to inspire and enlighten other women on their journey. Visit meganmary.com to find out more.